Charles. So now that we've gone there, man, now it is time for us to hit the top five Eddie Murphy performances, at least between you and I, right? So from the streets of Beverly Hills to the kingdom of Zamunda, as we break down the top five performances that define Eddie Murphy's incredible career. Now, we're going to take a closer look at the roles that just weren't performances, they were pop culture earthquakes. And we're going to talk about that. So, we're going to lead off. And Charles, I'm going to go in reverse order because I know they have these ranked. I didn't rank them in any order, but let's start, man, at number five. And what made the top five to me was Donkey. Now, Charles, with nothing but his voice, because we never see Eddie Murphy do any of this stuff, but his voice, he created one of the most beloved animated sidekicks of all time. Donkey is funny, loyal, and wildly endearing, his comic energy balancing Shrek's gruffness perfectly. Murphy's voice work brought the character to life with so much charm and humor that it earned him a BAFTA nomination and cemented Donkey as the pop culture icon in his own right. And oh, by the way, Charles, they're doing a Donkey spinoff that Eddie Murphy is starring in 30 years later. What do you think about Donkey as one of the five definitive Eddie Murphy performances?
This is the one performance, which I mean, and for consistency's sake, we've talked about him performing inside of Troops before, where he's with in Trading Places
With
with
these
Dan
different
Aykroyd and
ensembles,
Jamie
right?
Lee Curtis ensembles. This is he is not the star of Shrek, and Donkey is like you said, he's a sidekick. I respect and understand how much of an icon the performance is, and how people love that role because it was been in several films.
Right.
But I think I would have put this outside the top five as an honorable mention and put Marcus Graham at the number five spot in that place. Yep.
Ooh, you gonna put Marcus Graham over his Dolomite?
Yes, yes. Because
Ooh,
and here's the reason why, because Dolomite and the other character we will be speaking about soon are really close performances in that they kind of troll the same genre and the themes. So, this it's kind of the same person a little bit to me in those. But the Marcus Graham is completely different, kind of original to that performance.
all right, I got you, man. All right, well, that's interesting, and this is good because we should have some conversation around this. But coming in at number four, Charles, Sherman Klump, Murphy's boldest character experiment turned into one of his greatest triumphs as the gentle, insecure Professor Sherman Klump, which was based on what Jerry Lewis had done years earlier in The Nutty Professor. Murphy brought warmth and vulnerability, then turned around and, to your point, we already put his family in as honorable mentions. But this role, man, earned him universal praise, massive box office success. Eddie Murphy, man, showed that that sketch comedy work he did years early on SNL, he was able to take that, translate it into multiple films, man, where he was able to make us laugh and then make us laugh with different perspectives. But we'll concentrate on Sherman Klump and what he does in this film. And then it becomes even funnier, I think, in the sequel when he has to play the oversized Sherman Klump. And then I think it's the young Buddy Love, his alter ego.
Right, right.
Yeah, man. So thoughts on Sherman Klump, man, at number four.
I like this pick. I really do because again, uh, Eddie Murphy is all over this film. The Nutty Professor, Sherman Klump and Buddy Love and all his family, and he's really the heart of this movie. And just to see him doing different things. Being having to put on those prosthetics to play Sherman, and it was really groundbreaking for Eddie Murphy and who he was and what kind of the style of comedy he had done in the past. He just really stepped out again and broke boundaries for himself. And I really I was one of the people who was like, why is he going to do that old Jerry Lewis thing? Why is he going to do that? But he really made it his own, and it was special. Yeah.
All right, man. Now we get into the top three And this gets us back to the conversation about the dramas, right? And I
Right.
felt that of all the dramatic roles he's had, you talked about Marcus Graham, you talked about him playing Rudy Ray Moore. I thought James Thunder Early in Dreamgirls was something special for Murphy, man.
Yeah.
To your
Yeah.
point, Charles, he is a member of an ensemble, but this is a performance that blended soul legend charisma and personal tragedy. Murphy delivers one of the most dramatic turns of his career as the explosive, heartbroken James Thunder Early. Murphy brought the house down with his vocals and vulnerability. The role won him a Golden Globe, earned him an Oscar nomination, should have earned him an Oscar win for the reason we talked about earlier, proving
Norbit.
once for all. See, I want to go say it. Proving once for all that he can bring just as much weight to a tragic downfall as a punchline. Now, this is just me, and I'll let you speak in a second. I love this performance and Dreamgirls. I thought that with Jamie Foxx and Jennifer Hudson, who wins the Oscar, and the soundtrack and the screenplay and the production design, everything that works. Murphy stands alone to me, despite the fact that he didn't win. He's the tragic heart and soul, the tragic figure. Out him and Effie. Effie is really the true
Yeah. Yeah.
dramatic figure. But if there's a dramatic figure A or B, he's got to be B next to Effie. And the way he plays it, it's just heartbreaking to watch, man.
We joke about Norbit a lot about how it was responsible for, but there's really no explanation as to why they really didn't give him the award that year for the Oscar that year, because despite whatever anything else he does, this was his I was close to making this his number one performance because of the recognition that he received just globally for what he did in this film. Like you mentioned, he won the Golden Globe. He was nominated. He really should have won, and a lot of people. This was almost before Chadwick Boseman was shocked. You know, when he didn't get that award. So,
Right. Right.
um, and people want to use Norbit as the explanation, but there really is no really good explanation as to why he didn't win for that
Yeah,
Oscar.
I'm still burnt up about him not winning. And which gets me to number two. And Charles, we talked about this film earlier. Coming to America, his Prince Hakeem, in what many consider his sweetest and most universally adored role. Murphy became Prince Hakeem of Zamunda 30 years before Black Panther hit the screen. A noble royal in search of love, navigating Queens, New York with wide eye wonder and humility. Now, beyond his heart, Murphy's tour de force of multiple characters, which we already talked about, showed his range, transforming Coming to America into a cultural cornerstone that remains as quotable and beloved decades later. And Charles, before I throw it to you, as a point, I remember almost 20 years ago, one day we were at BET. I was working at BET.com, and the whole office sat around for at least half hour to 45 minutes with everybody throwing out their favorite lines from Coming to America.
And you probably went 30 minutes before somebody repeated a line because
Man,
there are that many lines in
that
that
boy
film that are
good. That boy
spectacular.
good.
I still use that one every now and then. I'll be like, that boy good.
He
When
good, all
so
right. Good and terrible. I love this film, man. What do you have to say about Coming to America, man?
I can't complain. I believe that that film is one of the top black movies ever made. Coming to America. I mean, people have. I mean, you just said it before. There was Black Panther. There was Prince Akeem, and people
Yeah.
looked up to Prince Akeem and respected that role, and all of his fallacies and foibles. But he was fantastic, and he was an inspiration. I love Ruthie Carter's work costuming
Oh
that
man.
thing, man. It's whew,
Yeah,
whew.
Ruthie. Yeah, the costumes and Coming to America. The only one every time I think about this movie that really stands out is when James Earl Jones came to New York and they were at the Waldorf Astoria and he jumped out of that limousine with that lion's
With
head.
the lion head.
I was like, wow, look, we're not worthy. Ruthie Carter she's a beast, man. I mean, and I say that with all the love and respect. I love me some Ruthie Carter. All
Yeah.
right, man. So let's get to number one, man. And number one, this one, this movie, when you talk about him becoming a phenomenon, Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop. Charles, the easiest way to really think about this just being, I think, his third movie because he had done 48 Hours, Trading Places, and then he exploded in Beverly Hills Cop. This
Right.
movie made, in 1984, made $316 million worldwide. If we adjust that for today's dollars, imagine an actor who came out of a show like SNL, sketch comedy. He had two smaller films, and his third film made $733 million. He would be celebrated the way Eddie Murphy was celebrated 40 years ago. Huge. It
Yeah.
just changed everything for Murphy. It changed everything for black characters because people were like, wow, who is this kid? What was he like,
Um,
21 or 22 when he
he was,
made?
I think he was 22 when he did this film, and you know, he had cut his teeth in SNL. He had developing characters. Being, I mean, I'm surprised. You know, a lot of people will say, "Well, what about Delirious and Raw and all those other things?" But those aren't acting performances. But I mean, Delirious and Raw were also instrumental in this performance. I mean, when we got Beverly Hills Cop, we were like, we've never seen this before. Where a black man is just hilarious. He's got charm. He's super smart, uh, and he's solving crimes. Yeah, that this was the film to watch. It was like you said, it was a moment. And when this film came out, everybody was like, I want to be like Axel Foley. The music was everywhere. The people were dressing like him. It was crazy. It was
Man,
crazy.
and the other part that I don't think we talk about enough, and Eddie Murphy had said the quiet part out loud. He's a part of the creation of the action buddy comedy genre
Yeah.
that we have. When he did 48 Hours with Nick Nolte, of course, later on with Beverly Hills Cop, like that genre didn't exist. Like we had action films and we had buddy comedies, but they weren't buddy action films. Eddie Murphy, in our generation, we were the first to see this, which now we see it all the time. Like he
All the
teases
time.
now with Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. You know, like everybody took that formula. Bruce Willis, all of those guys took that formula and ran with it. Eddie Murphy, truly a trailblazer, which is why I'm glad that we were able to give Eddie his flowers, man. And we'll give him more flowers because we'll talk about his movie in a little bit, man. But any closing thoughts, man, on the top five? And we'll go through that top five one more time. Coming in at number five, of course, was Donkey from Shrek. Number four was Sherman Klump from The Nutty Professor. James Thunder Early from Dreamgirls comes in at number three. Prince Akeem, Coming to America, coming in at number two. And from Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley at the top spot. So yeah, go ahead, Charles. Any last thoughts, man, before we move on and review?
Well, like I said before, I don't think Donkey would have made my top five, but I recognize how it brought a new generation to Eddie Murphy than had been before. So yeah, I respect it.
All right, man. Well, so to read this list, you can go over to thefilmgordon.com. The list is there. And again, let us know how you feel, man, because sometimes we in a vacuum and we doing stuff. Give us some comments, man. Let us know if you agree with the list. If you like Charles Kirkland, man, I don't know why you put that donkey in there. I would have put Marcus Graham in there. Respect. I got you. All right.